The Unfiltered by Jade.
Jade.
Welcome to the Unfiltered by Jade, where we get out of the box and dive into topics that are sidelined. I look forward to entertain, educate, and inspire. Feel free to like, share, subscribe, donate, and make everybody know about this.
Beats by RB Records, a proud sponsor of The Unfiltered by Jade.
Shopping Assistance Jamaica takes the stress away. Our services include online and local shopping in Jamaica for individuals and businesses, personal shopping, purchasing of company and office supplies, importing and exporting small packages across Jamaica and worldwide, helping you to find unique gifts and items for all events and occasions. Contact us at 876-919-5195. Shopping Assistance 2015 at gmail.com. Follow Shopping Assistance on Instagram at Shopping Assist JA, at Twitter at Shopping Assist 5, and Facebook at The Shopping Assistance. Shopping Assistance, your style, your budget. Welcome back to the Unfiltered by Jade. Today we have Coach Tony today, and he is a man of God. He is a father. He is a husband. He is the host of the Mud Talk podcast, and he is a basketball coach. Hey, Tony.
Hey, how's it going?
It's going good. How you doing?
Blessed.
Nice. I hope I got my introduction correct.
Oh, for sure. It was awesome. I was sitting back. I was like, wow, she did an amazing job.
Thank you. And I'm sure you do much more. Yeah. So what I want us to talk about is the importance of a dad in a girl's life. Right?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. So, as a dad of a girl, what is the scariest aspect of this?
Wow. Yeah. It's, as far as being, I call it a girl dad. I actually did an episode on this. It was a
I know.
real special episode for me.
I know.
Yeah. So, I just think it's, when you have a daughter, at least for me, it kind of changed the way I looked at life. I had to learn how to operate differently, how to just lead on a completely different level. I had a son first. So when you have a son, you're like, all right, I'm gonna teach him how to play ball. Like I'm gonna teach him how to ride a bike. Like we're good.
Right.
Like it's not too much. But then when you have a daughter, it's next level. Like you're like, yo, like I gotta be this type of man that she's gonna want to look for when she gets older. I have to set the bar really high. So that's what really started my journey as far as like changing into the man I am today, because I was like, I refused to, set the bar low for her, and so I had to, go above and beyond the call of duty just by leading by example on all fronts, whether that's, in my marriage, communication with women that I speak to in public, just different things. It's just so many aspects to it that, I really had to change. It was different. But I love it. It made me a better person for sure.
Nice. So you weren't scared when you heard, okay, you're having a daughter. It wasn't because, men are generally, when they hear they're having a daughter, oh my God, they don't have to be the protector. They're going to protective mode because they don't want anything happening to their daughters, or they don't want, the boys, it's always mostly about boys, protecting their daughters from the boys.
Yeah, it was more so for me because I have 3 sisters. And so I've been in a situation where, my sister brings a, boyfriend home, and, I've kind of experienced a lot of those situations. So it was like, I feel like I was kind of prepared for it some way, shape and form, but it wasn't, I wasn't completely prepared for it. So yeah, it does come with some fear. It does come with, a bunch of questions about things that I just had no clue on how to deal with. So, I
Mm-hmm.
thank God that I was blessed with a wife that was, that I still defer to in certain situations.
Mm-hmm.
But, you
Mm-hmm.
know,
Yeah.
yeah, but it definitely comes with a lot of questions and a lot of concerns. But it's just something about a baby girl that just, man, it just changes your life for sure. So I think that love kind of just makes you overlook all of the fear. For me, it did.
Nice. Nice. Very good. How important is a dad in a girl's life?
Oh, super important, super important. And I think as far as just a dad, period, right? Like having a dad
Mm-hmm.
is huge. I grew up in a house where it was a single parent household, but my dad was involved. I was able to, talk to my dad, see my dad and things like that. But I think as far as for a daughter, there's certain things that a woman can relate to, a young woman about. And then there's some things that she's going to want to talk to her dad about. She's going to, look up to you for, like you say, protection and guidance and leadership
Mm-hmm.
and those different things. And so I think it's really important to be there for her. Like for my daughter, I'm finding out that it's important to be there for her when she's just like down about this like weird stuff. I think my daughter's really beautiful, but she has
Mm-hmm.
times where she's just like, oh, she needs her hair done, or she's upset with her mom, for whatever reason.
Right, right,
Some
right.
stuff I can't
Mm-hmm.
really relate to. And then that's when I
Right.
step in and I'm like, look, like you're beautiful. Like you don't, have to look you don't have to have your hair done like this or like that. And I kind of dig into it and find out what happened. Did a girl at school tell you your hair looks weird? Or, that's when I step in as a man and tell her, like, look, you're beautiful, and I feel like at
Mm-hmm.
that time she needs to hear it from me, like a man,
Yes.
And so I think,
Yes.
that's an example of to me, why it's important for dad, for fathers to be there. Of course, there's a lot more to that, right? But
Right.
those are one of the situations that I deal with my daughter pretty frequently, where I have to step in and just flat out tell her, look, you're beautiful,
Right.
right? So yeah,
Right.
yeah, that's huge.
I mean, I can see that because with my dad, he was the one that took me out on dates and said, "This is how a man is supposed to treat you."
Hmm.
I would prefer to talk to my dad about things with men, guys, how to go about things. So I knew how to operate, so I did not go. And it's important because we don't go out there seeking it from some random man or some men or some
Hmm.
boys out there when our
Hmm.
father is giving it to us. So affirming is so important. How do you maintain and instill values with your daughter?
Wow, I think it's leading by example. Like what, like how I hate to keep referring to my podcast. I did an episode called Just Words, and just saying that, like, I mean, when you say things, they are just words until you like actually act it out. You actually lead by example. You actually, um, kind of show your kids, the stuff that you're telling them. And for me, I have to constantly show my daughter. I have to constantly show her, like, opening doors for her mom, and just the date nights and things like that. I have to constantly show her, and I think that helps. I don't know if that answers the question, but yeah, that definitely
Yeah,
helps.
man, it does. It does. Because, I mean, she's seeing it.
Hmm.
So if she goes out there and it doesn't happen with her, she's wondering what's up because this is how my dad treats my mom.
Exactly.
So therefore, any man I'm with now needs to treat me this particular way. Or even if I'm not with any man, but just going to the mall or so, if a door needs to be open and a man is there, you're expectant now of the man to be opening the door.
Yeah.
Just courtesy, it's chivalry, really.
Oh, for sure.
Yes. What is your fathering style?
Wow. My wife, and she's gonna listen to this, so I want to be 100% honest. I am the cool parent. I am the cool parent. I'm going to accept that. We just had a conversation a few days ago where she's like, "Look, like I'm just getting on them. The kids, she's working. My wife's working from home, and it's just a lot going on, just like a lot of people. And I'm still out and about. And when I get home, she's like, "Look, your kids today, they have been all over the place." And so I kind of walk into this, this situation, and I'm just real
Uh-huh.
relaxed and chill. And she's just kind of, letting the kids, telling them, about everything. And after the kids walk out or whatever happens, she's like, "This is why you're the cool parent, because you're just so chill and relaxed." I'm like, because I'm letting you do your thing, right? And I'm kind of like it's like good cop, bad cop. So yeah, I think I'm the cool parent because I'm able to pull them to the side and kind of speak to them on a level that I think they can relate to.
Mm-hmm.
Versus like my wife, like when she gets to fussing at them and stuff like that. And I have my moments. We all do, right? Where we fuss at our
Uh-huh.
kids. But
Uh-huh.
I think when she's fussing, I'm not fussing along with her. Like I kind of
I mean,
come
there's some
behind.
balance. Yeah.
Exactly, exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I think I play the cool parent role probably more often than she does for
I
sure.
think the men normally do anyway.
Yeah, yeah,
The men
yeah.
normally do. Okay, so boy talk. Have you had that talk and how important is that talk with your daughter?
Man, yo. So that talk happened a lot earlier than I thought it would.
Oh.
Because again, I defer to my wife in so many like situations. Like I try to hide behind certain things with her. But we had a situation where my daughter was they go to church, and our church before COVID anyway, it was it's a really big, youth church. There's a lot of kids that go there. And
Okay.
so they were hanging out, my son and my daughter and some friends at church. And she became friends with a kid there, and we met his parents and stuff like that. And it all kind of happened really quickly, and they're just
Mm.
friends. But I had to tell my wife, I'm like, is this like the beginning of like like meeting like a potential like boyfriend or
Uh-huh.
whatever the case is? And praise God, it was through church. And I think that helped me kind of just be like, hey, grateful and like I was proud, I was happy. But yeah, so that happened a few years ago, and I mean they're still friends, and we know their family really well. He's a really, really good kid. He plays basketball and stuff. So they're just friends, but that did happen, a couple years ago. So they've been friends for a couple years. They play video games together and stuff. So it's day by day, but it helps when the family, the parents, and you really you get to know them and stuff like that. So yeah, it,
And
it
you have
happened.
so how did it go? How did the conversation with her go?
She of course told her mom first. She
Ah,
told she
okay,
told her,
okay.
yeah, yeah, she told her mom first, and I found out through my son. My son's like, yeah,
Mm.
yeah, like TT, because we call my daughter TT. Her name is
Okay.
Tony. Her name is Tony.
Okay.
We call her TT for short. And yeah, my son was just like, yeah, TT is friends with this kid at church named Davis. She talks to him on the phone and plays Fortnite with him. I was like, really? So I asked my wife about it, and she's like, Tony didn't tell you? I'm like, no, she didn't tell me. I was like, you know about this? And then like, so we had a conversation, and of course we sat down with Tony, and she's like, Dad, I thought you would, be fussing at me. I was like, nah, I mean, I just kind of wanted to know so I could, figure out,
Right.
what's going on. And I
Right.
think like she needed to see that I wasn't like gonna go crazy.
Right.
I want it to be a level of trust, right? Like I want her to be
Mm-hmm.
able to talk to me about it and know that like I'm not gonna go crazy on you, like because I just want to know the kid. I want to get to know him, like what I know that he's young, right? But like,
Right.
who's his parents? Like, what does he do? Like, where does he go to school? Like, what are his
Right.
interests? Like, those are the things I think I'm concerned about, right? Like, I'm already doing this full interview on this teenage kid. Um, but man, he checked off a lot of boxes, and his parents are just great people.
Nice.
His mom just she doesn't play at all. You know what I'm saying? So like when my daughter goes over there, she's like Tony knows. Like I'll snatch her up real quick. I'm
Uh-huh.
like, yeah,
Uh-huh.
I
Uh-huh.
appreciate that. So yeah, we're really close with their parents, and yeah, it helped. But that conversation initially was a little awkward because she didn't want to talk to me
Yes.
about it. She wanted to talk to her mom about it, and but we eventually, we kind of crossed that bridge, and now I mean, we are where we're at now, and she's pretty comfortable with coming to me and saying, "Hey, Dad, can I go to Davis's basketball game like this weekend or something for school?" And I'm like, "All right, we can go, right? Like I'll take you and we can go, you
Well,
know."
we're
Or
going together.
exactly. Or if his parents are there, like we know that we're comfortable with his parents because his parents are, we trust them, and we're like, okay, well, we'll drop you off. But yeah, she's comfortable now, but it took some time, in opening up that line of communication and establishing that trust, that's needed for her to feel comfortable,
Mm. Yeah, think listening to you, how it is, how the dads might feel about it. Um, with my experience, I was close to my dad. My dad passed, but I was very close to my dad. So even growing up, if there is a boy situation, it's my dad. When I got love letters, I give it to my dad. When I got gifts from boys, I gave it to my dad to keep. Never gave it to my mom.
Wow.
Never did. It
Wow.
was always my dad. When it came on to even puberty, it's my dad. When it came on to my first kiss, it's my dad. Like I went to my dad about everything.
That's amazing. That's wow. Your dad was
Everything.
had to be a great man, I would imagine, right? Like
Yes.
that
When
is
we In fact, my sex conversation was with my dad.
wow.
I've never sat down and had a sex conversation with my mom before. Never.
And see, that's the thing that like I hope that my daughter is gonna be comfortable with like talking to me about because like like my son is 15, so he's a year older, and I like me and him like we frequently visit this topic and like just
Okay.
randomly, like I'm in the car
Yes.
with him and I'm like, hey man, like if you're in a situation,
Mm-hmm.
like talk to me, right? Like let me
Mm-hmm.
know. Like he's like, nah, dad, it's nothing. Like I'm not. I promise you, it's nothing. Like I'm not even thinking about that. I'm like, that's great, but like that like you need to like talk to me if you're in that situation or if you feel pressured or something like that because I'm here to help. I was your age once, like
Right.
so me and him frequent that a lot, but like with my daughter, like I haven't I haven't even like
I don't think
yeah,
do you
it
know how
hasn't
to
happened.
approach that
Yeah.
situation?
I don't think I do yet. I don't think like I do. Like I constantly pray, every day, like God, make me a better father, a better husband, a better communicator. I just want to be like prepare me, right? Like so, um, I don't want to cross. I don't want that come, and smack me in the face without being prepared for it. So I would love to be prepared for it, but gotta have His way. His will to be done. So
Mm-hmm.
I think that just hearing you, I'm like, wow, that's amazing. I got a lot. I got a
Yeah.
lot of stuff to work on so that I can be at
Yeah,
that
I
point.
mean, I mean, I think it's closeness. So I think I'm closer. As I said, I was closer to my dad. So he's talked about everything, and I mean, I remember my dad just came to me one day. We're just talking about something, and he came to me and said, "What do you do when you're horny?" And I'm like, what? What are you
Mhm.
asking? And it just went from there. And I just started telling him, okay, when I feel a particular way that it is what I'm doing, I just told him about stuff. So he would call, "Are you having sex?" "No, I'm not having sex." So, you see, that conversation will come freely, and it would come as nothing really. Absolutely nothing. So even when I did get married, he would call and say, "Oh, make sure before you come to church you have sex, because it's good to have sex sometime before you do." We will have that conversation. That's how close we were. Let's hope that when once your daughter, I mean, she believes that you are probably overprotective, so she'll preferably go to her mom about it.
Yeah, I'm sure she will. Like I'm sure she will.
she'll prefer, yeah, she'll go to her mom about it. I mean, it's relationship with and who we're comfortable with. Well, I guess once you continue to create that safe space, I guess she'll come.
Oh, for sure.
Yes.
I'm
How do you?
praying for the day. To be
Yes,
ready.
you're
To be
praying
ready.
for the day.
To be prepared. I just it's almost like, I know it's gonna take a lot of prayer, just to be ready, a lot of conversations with God, just so that I can be ready, just because I don't want to overreact. I don't want to like go crazy and lose my mind. Like, cause it's a part of life. It's gonna happen. Just kind of continue to instill those values in her and just trust her decision making, So that's
I
pretty
mean, but the same approach that you take it with your son, yeah, you probably could take that same approach with your daughter. I mean,
for
if
sure.
there's anything,
And it's
if there's
crazy.
anything, you can
Yeah.
come and talk.
And it's crazy that you say that, and like because now that I'm looking at it, I'm like, yo, like I really been kind of just expecting that to happen with my wife. Like I got my son, like I'm gonna take
Ah,
this ride with him, right? and she's mentioned it. Like, when are you going to take that ride with Tony and talk to her about boys? I'm like, I've already
Yes.
talked to her about boys. Like, how you think Davis, the kid Davis, came in the picture? Like, we talked. She's like, no, we talked. Like, together. I'm
Uh-uh.
like,
You need
you
to
need to
talk
talk
to her.
exactly,
Yes.
exactly.
You
So,
need to have that
mm,
conversation with her. Even if it's, just not at it. Just say, hey, how do you feel about this? Ask her. Just bring it up. Bring it up.
I'm taking notes for real. Like, I'm taking real stuff from this conversation. And like, yeah, like approach
Take
the
her on
new
a
week.
date and bring it
Uh
up.
huh. Uh huh. Yeah. Got time this week. Yeah, definitely have time this week, and I'm putting it on my checklist.
How do you handle disappointments?
Man, I've learned to I'm gonna say it, like, we mature as adults, like, over time, right? It's the same way as parents, learning not to overreact to certain things. I think we've been through disappointments, like, with, academically, like, because my daughter, she was a straight A student for a while, and I think the first time she got a B. Like,
Mm,
I literally, like, was so, like, upset with her. Like, I was like, how? Like, and it was in a class that I was like, I don't even understand how you got to be in this class. But I had
mm-hmm,
to slow down and think for a second. Like, yo, she's been, like, knocking it out the park, like, straight A's. You know what I'm saying? Like, just killing it. And here
mm-hmm,
I am fussing at her about a B. And so I think I did, like, overreact then. And so I learned from that, though. Like, after talking to her, because she was upset and crying. I'm like, I'm thinking about myself. I'm not really thinking about
mm-hmm,
her.
mm-hmm,
She was disappointed too, that she, missed the mark, of achieving, the grades that she was accustomed to. And so I had to learn to kind of, put myself in her shoes, during those times, and to not always think about it from a parent's perspective, because my parents were
mm-hmm,
just, I know my mom, like, she's tough. Like, my dad is really laid back, soft spoken guy, but my mom's just tough. Like, so if you did something, that was just, just wrong, she's gonna let you know. And I don't think, at least when I was a kid, I didn't feel like she had any remorse, or, what I mean, for me. Like, during the time, she didn't care about my feelings. But, so I think, I kind of react like my mom did at times. I had to say,
mm,
like, I don't need to be that way, because, the way my mom, treated us isn't the way I have to treat her. So,
right,
so I learned, with academics, because that's a big deal in our house. My wife is, has, multiple degrees, and
nice,
she's big on academics, and
right,
it's just something that, it's just a way of life, right? So, you know, I thought that fussing at her was going to, like, get her right. And instead, it kind of really made it worse in the moment. And
right,
we didn't get to celebrate success, because all A's and one B. I mean, that's great, right? Like, a lot of kids will never see that type of report card, and
mm-hmm,
so you gotta learn to, build them up, and then, find the time to really talk about, where they fell short, and approach it in a different way. So I'm learning to deal with the disappointments that way. But I'm learning. I think because I coach. I,
mm-hmm,
I am a coach. So
mm-hmm,
my daughter and my son, they both play basketball, and so
nice,
I coach them really hard, because I know that they were just born with gifts. And I'm like, I get on them when they're lazy and they're not working hard. And I just, I fuss at them a lot when it comes to the game, because I'm like, look, you guys going to use this game, or you're going to let the game use you? Like, which one is it going to be? And so,
mm-hmm,
I fuss at them a lot on that front. I've learned with the academics how to approach it, but, like, through athletics, just because I get the results out of my kids, when
mm-hmm,
I break them down, and just not my kids, my children, but the kids I coach. And I
mm-hmm,
look at them 3, 4, 5 years down the line, and I'm looking at them, they're on track to, get Division I scholarships, or to get accepted to their college of choice, just by their grades alone and their character. And,
mm-hmm,
and I get that out of them by the way I coach, my style of coaching. I don't
mm-hmm,
curse. I don't, I'm not
right,
being disrespectful, but,
right,
I don't
right.
shy away from being real with them and letting them know, like, about what they're doing, and how they're going about it. So I'm learning to deal with disappointments with my own children, um, on certain levels. I'm growing. I'm growing. Yeah.
And that's understandable. I mean, do your kids understand why is it that you push them that hard?
Oh, for sure. Like, I'm pretty sure your parents always maybe told. I'm not sure their background or their story, but
Mm-hmm.
everybody has a story, right? And we always use our story during those times where we're disappointed in our kids, and we tell like my wife is from California. She was
Mhm.
raised in foster care.
Mhm.
She didn't have her parents. She didn't grow up with family, like blood family, and yet she was able to overcome all of that. Go to college, multiple degree. Like her story is just remarkable,
Right.
and the fact that she overcame all of that and without an ideal childhood, the two-parent household and all of this. And so when they're not doing right, my wife, we always go back to the story. Like,
Mhm.
like I didn't have what you guys have. We're here giving you everything we have, laying it all on the line. You can knock on the door, talk to mom, talk to dad at any time. There's a lot of kids that don't have that. And so
Mhm.
we don't want them taking that for granted. So we always kind of go back to the story, about
Mhm.
how we got to where we're at and what we had to overcome. And even, a step further, we talk about our parents, their grandparents, and what they had to overcome, right? To get to where they were at and kind of compare it to their situations and where their current living situations. And, I'm like,
Mhm.
look, you guys have iPads, iPhones,
Everything.
PlayStation.
Everything at their
I
disposal.
mean, it is just amazing. God be the glory. Like this stuff is, accessible to you guys. And when you fall short, yes, we're super disappointed because I'm like, what else can we give you? I remember my grandmother told me a couple years ago. It may have been like maybe 4 or 5 years ago for Christmas. We were at my grandmother's house, and she's like, "Look, what are you going to get your kids next Christmas? A car?" And I was, and it had me thinking. Like it took me a while to really for that to soak in. She's telling me like your kids are
Mm.
entitled. These kids get everything they want, and like when are they going to have to actually like work for something? And I was
Work for something.
exactly, and I was
Mhm.
like, wow, like here we are, like we're
Yeah.
providing, like God, blesses us, so we try to give our kids so much. But she was just telling us like you need to pull it back a little bit because once you give
Mhm.
them everything, they don't really have anything to work for. And so
Mhm. Mhm.
yeah, so that's just a side note, man. My grandmother, she's still here, she's still kicking, she's 80 years old. So
Nice. Nice.
I just
Nice.
told her I understood what she was saying like just last year, so about that statement. So
I
yeah.
mean, it's funny that you say that because I think I did a podcast with Richie and Trisha the other day about anxieties during the Christmas, and we're all talking about these giving things to our kids every minute, and if they really appreciate what we're doing
Mhm.
and how hard it is that we're working for it, and we're like, no, they don't, because we still provide and give it to them regardless of whether they appreciate it or not. We
Mhm.
do. And sometimes they don't understand, as your grandmother said, how to work for something. Because as I was sharing with them, I don't remember getting all these things as a child.
Oh
I
no,
don't remember
definitely
it.
not.
I don't remember. I remember a tree. I remember getting tree, and I remember getting food, and we were good. I don't remember getting all these gifts. And from we left high school, all of us left high school, we all worked. From we left high school, we all worked. And it's not that we had to, it's that my parents said, no, you need to know how to work for things.
Exactly.
So we had to go out there and work and at least know how to experience stuff. So we had to get up early. Like, oh, we want things. Okay, we have to now get up early, go to work, come back home, prepare for work again, and do that cycle for the summer, every summer, so we get that experience. So we don't grow up as adults and don't know how to do anything. We don't know how to fend for ourselves. We don't know anything. So
Mhm.
it was so important, and that was lessons. So we ain't gonna come out and be nothing, really. So I do understand where you're coming from with that, and with pushing them to do things, because our parents also pushed us to do things that they know it's beneficial to us, and what will help us in the long run. So yeah, I mean, I guess you guys doing a good job where that's concerned.
We're trying. We're trying. I tell people it's parenting is it's every situation is different. And like we just had a new addition to our family. My little brother had a baby. We
Nice.
have a new nephew. He's 2 months. And I was telling my baby brother, who's 26, I'm like, dude, there's no such thing as a perfect parent.
Nope.
Do not put that type of pressure on yourself to try to be perfect, because believe me, man, it is not possible. You just need to
True.
focus on loving them and setting the bar high. leading
Mm-hmm.
by example, and
Mm-hmm.
and giving it to God, and everything that you find difficult, because
Mm-hmm.
that's how you're gonna find your way through it.
Most definitely. So I think we're at the end of our questions.
I love it.
Yeah. Yeah. So can tell the people where to reach you
Oh,
and your
for sure.
Instagram handle and everything.
Oh yeah, yeah, for sure. So I made it pretty easy. It's Mud Talk Podcast, and that's on every social media platform. So you can find me on Instagram and Twitter mostly. That's where I spend most of my time. I set up camp, Instagram and Twitter. But my wife did start a Facebook page, I think about 4 or 5 months ago. I'm
Nice.
not too sweet on Facebook, but I'm Instagram and Twitter. I mean, that's where you can find me. I'm also on Clubhouse now, which has become a big deal. I'm on Clubhouse, and that's at Mud Talk Podcast as well. You can always email me, mudtalkpodcast@gmail.com, if you have any inquiries or any questions about the podcast. But it's all love, all positivity on Mud Talk Podcast. I'm big on youth entrepreneurship, youth empowerment. I tell stories about my childhood and kind of just tie it into today's society and life and things like that. I do talk
Nice.
sports and stuff. So it's a really cool podcast. You're going to get a triple
Mm-hmm.
dose of inspiration and positivity, because that's just who I am. I
Mm-hmm.
try not to be anything I'm not. Just be transparent. And
Yes.
that's every Thursday at 10 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. You can catch Mud Talk. That's on all platforms: Apple, Spotify, Google,
Everything.
yeah, iHeart, wherever.
Everything.
Yeah, yeah, we're there.
Everything.
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah. So guys, listen out for his podcast and go check it out. And thank you so much for listening to The Unfiltered by Jade. And we'll definitely be here again next week, Tuesday. Thank you.